Motorman, Palladino!
How it is we're able to handle an 800-pound motorcycle with the ease of a child's toy. You came to the right place, because I'm going to show you exactly how it's done. I'm going to be using 3 simple techniques. These techniques are the exact opposite of your instincts, so you won't pick this up on your own. Somebody's going to show you how it works, and that's what I'm here for. Believe me, folks, this ain't rocket science. If they teach it to the cops, how tough could it be? With a little bit of practice, you should actually be able to do this with one hand. Use a free hand to eat yourself a nice jelly donut, one of those nutritious deli donuts. Ain't nothing to it when you know the proper techniques. Most people ride using instinct, and your instincts are completely wrong. The proper way is the exact opposite of what you think it should be. A good rider should be able to bring the bike to a stop without putting their feet down, whip it around in one smooth motion. The reason police agencies use motorcycles is because of their maneuverability. But if you can't maneuver the bike the way you see me doing here, oh, you're not getting your money's worth. What's more, when that car turns left in front of you, the chances of you hitting that car are very good if you're afraid to lean and swerve that motorcycle. Now, as I said, I'm using 3 simple techniques. Head knives, friction zone, a little bit of rear brake. I'm going to stop explaining that to you. Now, the friction zone, that's the area of clutch travel between completely open and completely closed. At low speeds, you want to stay in that gray area. When you do that, your progress is so much easier and smoother. The second technique is the proper use of the rear brake. Put a little bit of pressure on the rear brake, put some power to the rear wheel, and the bike cannot fall over. And the third but most important technique is the proper use of your head and eyes. Wherever I turn my head and eyes, that's where the bike will go, because your hands naturally follow your eyes. And the easiest way to figure this out is to start with what's commonly called a slow race. Everybody's seen a slow race, but for our purpose, slow means about 4 miles per hour. What you want to do is have somebody stand about 100 yards or so in front of the motorcycle. Focus on that person's face as you ride towards them. That'll keep your head and eyes up. That's what you need to do. Instinct says look at the ground, don't do it. You look down, you're going to go down. That's my wife standing there. I'll focus on her face, ride slowly towards her. I know I'm in that sweet spot if I can rev the motor without picking up speed. That's just a little pressure on the rear brake. If you're not sure you're at proper training speed, you can have that person walk alongside the bike. A little faster on it. Right there is perfect. I can get her up to 10 miles an hour, but that's just to keep her in shape. Doesn't help me very much. In only 10 or 15 minutes, the average person figures out how much easier it is to control even the biggest, heaviest bike simply by staying in the friction zone. Some people call it slipping the clutch. You're allowed to slip the clutch on a motorcycle. It's not like a car. And when you get that down, you got to get over your fear of leaning the motorcycle, because a bike turns by leaning. The further I lean this bike, the tighter the turn I can make. Easiest way to do that is have somebody stand in the center of a big parking lot, focus on that person's face. That'll keep your head and eyes up, because instinct says when the bike starts to lean, to look at the ground. Don't do it. Never look down. Never hit that front brake at low speeds when the handlebars are turned, because it'll pull you to the ground like a magnet. Instead, keep your head and eyes up, focus on that person's face. And I know, guys, if you're going to try this with an old riding buddy of yours, you don't want to be looking at his face. He might look like that guy there. Just tell him to wear a full face helmet. Tell him for safety's sake, he might believe you. But if your assistant is as lovely as mine, you won't mind looking at a face. You start with big circles, leaning the bike just a tiny little bit. Each time you come around, you want to try to tighten it up and lean a little further. Eventually, you should get to where you can put those pegs right on the ground. You hear that scraping sound, it says, I've reached the limit of the lean angle, not to go any further. But you got to find those lean limits at low speeds, under controlled conditions, not when rounding a turn at 50 or 60. The most common motorcycle crash is called failure to negotiate a curve. The rider gets into the turn, he hears that scraping sound, he's not used to it, he panics and he straightens up the bike and runs right off the curb. Don't do it. Now, once you get that down, you'll be ready for the elusive U-turn on the side street. Now, I want to see a show of hands. How many people having a problem making a U-turn on the side street? Put your hand up. I'm not going to make fun of you. Okay, we got one over here, 2 sisters over here. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. For the people who didn't put your hand up, I'll bet you're misunderstanding me. When I say having a problem making a U-turn, if your U-turn looks like this is a problem. If every time your bike drops below 20 miles an hour, you're suddenly transformed into a little girl who just took the training wheels off a first two-wheeler, this ain't right, folks. I'm telling you, people who actually know how to ride are looking at you, they're pointing and laughing behind your back. Or you see the guys doing this kind of stuff, dragging their feet. Oh, I seen them pulling into the bike show over here, got $30,000 in his bike and has no clue how to ride it. He's dragging his feet every place he goes. I call those people members of the Foot Draggers Riding Club, because it's a big club. Oh yeah, you could even be be a member of the Foot Draggers Club and not know it, but if you wear your shoes out before your tires, you're a foot dragger. Get those feet up. What is that stuff? When that bike is in motion, your feet belong on the pegs of the floorboards. Now, if you notice, these two white dotted lines we have here, they're 24 feet apart. That's because your average side street is 24 feet wide. A bike like this turns in less than 18 feet, so theoretically, 24 feet should be a whole bunch of room to make a simple U-turn, unless you do it like this. I'm going to be the average guy. You're going to probably recognize a friend in this demonstration. Nobody here, I'm sure. I'm cruising down the road. I'm having a good time. I'm on a dinner run, got the wife on the back of the bike. I go by the shopping center so I can see myself in the reflection. You all do that. You want somebody to go around 2 or 3 times looking at yourself like this. Hey, honey, look, that's me. I look like a biker now, don't I? Because I got this do-rag and a black vest. I must be a biker. I even got a chain on my wallet. Don't know what the hell it's for, but my buddy got one, so I got a bigger one. Now, his wife, she looks at her reflection, and, you know, I don't know why it is, but women, they're more critical of themselves. She looks at it, she says, honey, do these chaps make my ass look big? And he says, no, honey, you look fine. It's not the chaps. She goes, you mean it's my ass? He says, no, honey, you look great. She says, you know, because I'm kind of big-boned. Maybe I should have got a different style. He says, no, you look great. They're cruising along. She says, you know, when you're busy looking at yourself back there, you missed the turn. We're going to be late for dinner. Our friends are going to be mad. Make a U-turn and go back. He says, no, I know a shortcut. She says, you don't know any shortcut. You're afraid to make that U-turn because you didn't listen to that Motorman guy. He was whipping U-turns like nothing, but you're too busy looking at his skinny blonde wife. I saw you do it. So now he's got to prove her wrong. He's afraid to hit this curve, so he starts his U-turn about 4 feet away from the curve. Now he lost 4 feet of the U-turn space. The next thing he does, he doesn't want to hit that curve, so he stares at the very thing he doesn't want to hit. And the more he stares at it, the closer the bike gets to it. It's like a strange force is pulling him right to it. And he's struggling, trying to move his hands, but he can't do it. He gets here and he stops. Now he's got to back up an 850-pound Harley Davidson with a big mouth on the back, and that ain't easy. And he's struggling, and he's out of breath. He says, honey, come on, you got to get off. She says, why do I have to get off? You think I'm fat? I'm not fat. I just got big bones. He said, it ain't your big bones, it's your big ass. Now get the hell off the bike. And now we got a full-blown domestic situation. Good rides can turn bad just like that. They can make a reality TV show out of that, but I'm going to show you the easy way to do this. Using those 3 techniques, head and eyes, frictions on a little bit of rear brake, there's nothing to it. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure I get my front tire as close to the right side as possible. That way I got the whole 24 feet to play with. Remember, the bike turns at 18 feet, so there's a whole bunch of room. I put the tire here, I snap my head and eyes, look back this way. The bike easily makes it, got 6 or 8 feet to spare. Even if the street is only 20 foot wide, all I gotta do is lean the bike a little bit further. The further I lean the bike, the tighter the turn I can make. But I know how you are, bikers are skeptics. I've been doing this a while, and I can practically read some of your minds. Like this guy right here, he's thinking, I'd love to see this guy fall on the dash. A couple of you thinking that. There's a guy back there saying, hang on, wait a minute. I ride with my wife on the back of the bike all the time. It ain't that easy when she's back there. I know when I try to make a U-turn, my wife's on the back, I feel like I'm docking the freaking Queen Mary. I need a tugboat to help me out. So let me see you do some of this stuff with your wife on the back. Okay. This is for the skeptic. She's not afraid to get out here. She has complete confidence in my abilities. Also want to let you know, maybe we got some single guys out there, knowing these 3 simple techniques, not only will they make you a better, safer rider, not only will you enjoy riding so much more, but they have an extremely high CDI factor. That stands for chicks taken. Come on, girls, you don't want to get on a bike with a guy whose handlebars are shaking. He starts walking and he's looking down the ground. Of course not. He's doing that. I'm questioning his masculinity. I'm telling you, he's dragging his feet. He's got a little sugar in his tank. Don't get on that bike. There we go. What's more, I'll tell you something, I've been doing these demonstrations for quite a while. When I first started, she was a slim and trim, 120 pounds, and she's ballooned up to 125, but it doesn't matter. Nothing changes. Head and eyes, friction's on, a little bit of rear brake. The bike reacts the same way even with 2 people on it. We'll put it right on the pegs or the floorboards. Still hear that scraping sound. That person's bike depends on your skills. If you have no skills, you are in deep trouble. Now, we have any lady riders out there? Put your hands up, ladies, if you ride your own bike. I want to see a show of hands. Got 1, 2 ladies, 3 ladies, and then there's a guy back. That's okay. You come out of the closet here in Tennessee. It's okay with me. It's America. You live like you want to live. The reason I say that is so many women think they can't handle a heavyweight motorcycle. They think it takes size or strength, but that's not the case. The fact is, the weight of the motorcycle is on the tires. Who cares how heavy the bike is? You ain't carrying it, you ain't pushing it. What's the difference? As long as you know the techniques, even the smallest, tiniest rider can handle a heavyweight motorcycle with the ease of a child's toy. Here's a little tip for you. Go to YouTube, type in Ride Like a Pro Victoria. You're going to see a little 4'9", 15-year-old girl on an electric ride like this. She can't even reach the shifter, but she can ride as good as I do. She knows the techniques. Come on out here, honey. What are you waiting for? Oh, you want to, she's waiting for a hand. You got to give her a hand. Give her a little motivation. Come on, get her going. There you go. Little bitty tiny girl, 850-pound motorcycle. Anybody can do this as long as you know the techniques. It takes about 3 or 4 hours to master these skills. I show you a step-by-step process of my video. You can't possibly screw it up. If you only practice for an hour a week using these techniques, think in a month's time you can do every maneuver he is doing here. Now I'm going to bring in a gentleman here. His name is James. He got my video a while back. He practiced the techniques and he got pretty good. In fact, he's an instructor here. Come on out here, James. Get in there. We're going to play a little bit of follow the leader. Sometimes he gets a little nervous in the crowd, but I think he can do it. Now what we're doing is not precision or drill team riding. It's simply follow the leader. They don't know which way I'm going to go, but it doesn't matter. You don't know the techniques. There's nothing to it. Let's circle the wagon train. There we go. How's that look, folks? That's complete total control of the motorcycle. If you can do this at 5 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour is a walk in the park, believe me. We got the Ride Like a Pro video on sale here for $25. It will be the best money you ever spent on your motorcycle. $25 will change your riding life forever. If you think riding a bike is fun now, imagine if you actually knew what the hell you were doing. We also have Survive in the Mean Streets. That's only $20. That shows you these techniques being out in the real world. Buy 2 of them for $44. And we have Ride Like a Pro on the Tail of the Dragon. Shows you how to use these techniques at high speeds on a winding road. Get just $20. Buy the whole set for $60. We're going to throw in a Ride Like a Pro jewelry so you really look cool when you look at your reflection. And that's it, folks. That's all we got for you. We enjoy being here so much. This is your last chance to get the video at these prices. We're going to be packing up in a matter of moments. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration. I hope you learned something. I hope you made you laugh. Thank you so much. You've been a terrific audience.